What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of A Lesson in Headbanging podcast with GPs. Yes, I'm your host, GPs, of course. And welcome. You read the headline correctly. If you're watching this on YouTube, A Lesson in Headbanging podcast, hit the subscribe button. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, if you're a new listener, hit the subscribe button, of course. And if you're a daily listener, thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Ozzy Osbourne. Uncle Ozzy, a couple days ago, he announced that he is retiring. And also, he won a Grammy for the best rock album of 2022. How about that? It only took him 13 albums with a solo albums to get a Grammy. I don't know. I mean, did you watch it? Me, personally, I didn't give a rat's ass about it. But nonetheless, Uncle Ozzy got himself a Grammy. So congrats to Uncle Ozzy. But nonetheless, astonishing career from Black Sabbath to his own solo band with Ozzy and all the members that toured with him, right? And this is where I want to ask you, the viewers, or you, the listeners. Again, my social media platforms, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and and on YouTube, as I mentioned. And what's your favorite tour from Ozzy? Have you experienced Ozfest back in the 90s? Have you seen him throughout the 80s in a solo band, or have you seen him with Sabbath, Black Sabbath, of course, in the 70s? Or 90s, of course, and the recently, a couple years ago, the final Black Sabbath tour, which I have witnessed. So, so many members he played with from, we can start with Sabbath. Obviously, the original lineup with Tony Iommi on guitar. Geezer Butler on bass, and Bill Ward on drums. Of course, the final years of Black Sabbath, he had Tommy Clufetos on drums, whom he plays on Ozzy's solo band as well. And obviously the solo band of Ozzy Osbourne, starting with Randy Rhoads, rest in peace. We love him. I'm a big Randy Rhoads fan. Rudy Sarzo on bass, Tommy Aldridge on drums, and what other got? Jake E. Lee. You can't forget Brad Gillis from Night Ranger. Can't forget him, but yeah, Jake E. Lee. Bark on the Moon, such a classic album. I love that album. And Zakk Wylde. He's been part of Ozzy's career for at least a good second half of the year. Randy Castillo's on drums, rest in peace. Gus G from Firewind was with Ozzy. Mike Borden, Robbie Trujillo from Talent. There's so many members. I can sit here and just think of, not on top of my head at this moment, but so many members part of the Ozzy Osbourne tour and band, and along with Black Sabbath as well. So, as I mentioned, I'm going to keep this short here, and if you have any special moments of witnessing Ozzy throughout those decades and a special time of the years between Sabbath and solo, drop it in the comments section or on YouTube or social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, of course. I love to read your stories, and I talk to people when I go to shows, like older bands, like when I went to see Testament or Exodus, and hearing stories of seeing Ozzy back in the heyday, it sounds like it's just a blast. I can't imagine. And again, me being in my early 30s, I never experienced those days, but hearing it from you, the listeners and viewers, which is phenomenal. And he's done touring. He is done touring, but musically wise, maybe we'll get more music of Ozzy in the near future. As of right now, nothing's been confirmed, but we'll have to wait and see what the Ozzy's camp is going to go for when it comes to writing and making new music. But we got himself a Patient Number 9, which it came out in 2022, and we have Jeff Beck, who played on it, rest in peace, obviously played on there, and Clapton played on there, and a bunch of artists played on there. But at least we have that, right? We have that. Now, this is the fun part. What's your favorite Ozzy or Sabbath album? What's your favorite? And I do have mine. And let's talk about Sabbath. Why not? Let's talk about Sabbath. My favorite Sabbath record of all time. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see it. If you're listening on the podcast, check out the YouTube page. Right here in my hand on vinyl. Black Sabbath Paranoid. Have it on vinyl. One of my favorite. I love this album, Black Sabbath Paranoid. Favorite Ozzy. Actually have it right here. Ozzy Osbourne, Blizzard of Oz on CD. If you see it as on YouTube, I got a little glare here. All right, here we go. So, love this record. And I want to have a video where there's a debate. Okay, a debate. This album versus this album. And what other album from Ozzy that maybe you guys will enjoy that I enjoy as well. Right here. Yeah. Diary of a Madman. See if I can bring this out here on YouTube. Have it on vinyl here. Love this record. I mean, side 1, Over the Moon, Flying High Again, You Can't Kill Rock and Roll, Believer. Side number 2, Little Dolls, Tonight, Sado, and Diary of a Madman. And it's tough to say because I love both records, but I think I love Blizzard. I love this album more than anything because I Don't Know, great track. Crazy Train, Suicide Solution, love that song. Mr. Crowley. So many great songs. I love this record. But at some point, who knows, maybe soon I'll do this album versus this album. Diary of the Madman versus Blizzard of Oz. Who knows? I might do that in a couple weeks or so. Talk about it. But you know what? Nevertheless is the fun to talk about. But we also want to reflect on the awesome years that Ozzy toured. Despite whatever band members he was with between Sabbath and his solo album. So, again, if you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and comment and let me know your stories and thoughts on Ozzy touring within the past decades. You know, Ozzy, I mean, the chance of actually watching this video and listening to his podcast is 1 in a gazillion, but, you know, thank you. Thank you for putting your body on the line and touring across the world and entertaining the fans, right? Entertaining the fans. That's what all matters. And giving us memories so we can cheers forever. So, we love you, Oz. Get some rest. Take it easy. And we love you. Thank you, Ozzy.